Welcome to the HustleWing podcast. Today we are joined by the lovely Amy Andersen, the CEO and founder of Linx Dating. She's going to chat to us today about her company. We're going to get to know her a little bit and have a good time. So thank you so much for joining today, Amy. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me be here. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you for your time. So please do tell me, what do you guys do at Linx Dating?
So, Linx is an exclusive and private Bay Area based dating and social network
Okay.
where, in a nutshell, we basically provide introductions through our matchmaking services to our different members and clients.
Oh,
So, Linx is headquartered in the Silicon Valley, right in the heart of Silicon Valley, but does have a global outreach. So, we have members from all over the world that are in our database and
mhm.
people that reach out to us on a daily basis from all over, really looking for love.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay. So then what makes you different from other dating platforms?
Absolutely. So there's a lot of different differentiating points, but I would say one of the unique hallmarks of the business is that this is definitely a niche business
Hmm.
situated in Silicon Valley, really working with a very specific demographic of clientele,
Okay.
highly educated, all professionals,
Mhm.
very well rounded, and just leading super interesting lives.
Yeah.
And importantly, individuals that are really marriage minded. The typical individual has done a little bit of dating apps, and now they're really looking for a very personalized approach. So our clients work directly with me, the
Okay.
founder and the CEO of the company. So that is something really unique and a big distinction compared to other dating services where a lot of clients would never have the opportunity to work
Yeah.
with the founder. I've been doing this now a little over 20 years, so I'm very
Wow.
seasoned, an expert in this space. Very unique that way.
That is so interesting. So how do you have time to match people personally by yourself? Like that must be very time consuming and very draining.
It is very labor intensive. There is no doubt about that. And it's funny because being in Silicon Valley, kind of the $1 million question is, are you scalable? Right.
Mm.
And the answer is, "Ooh, I don't know about that, right? Because the clientele that are soliciting our services are really signing up for the human connection, the human touch, like being able to work with me where I apply the art of this being my intuition, right? Something that
Yeah.
an algorithm could never do,
Mhm.
right? And so it does become very laborious, but that is why I'm only working with a small group of individuals at any given time versus
Yeah.
a very high volume business where then that's when I could really get into trouble working with way more people than I can personally handle. But I
Yeah.
do have a really amazing team of individuals that help me with a lot of the new client onboarding. They do a lot of different screenings and recruitment. So
Okay.
it's a small but mighty team.
Okay, that's awesome. Awesome. I love the authenticity about it, especially, I guess, based in Silicon Valley. Like you said, everything kind of seems very tech forward, which, sometimes takes away from the human aspect of it. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you prefer. But I mean, some people still kind of like crave that human side of businesses. And I know there's been a push recently with like a bunch of entrepreneurs and mamas and papa shops and supporting, local business and stuff like that. So I feel like we are kind of trying to stick to, the human side. So I love that you kind of stick to that. That's like your thing.
Absolutely. Well, I think what's really particularly to me as an entrepreneur fascinating is that a lot of my clients are the ones that actually built the dating apps.
Oh,
They're the tech founders of different well-known companies in Silicon Valley. Yet at the end of the day, they're craving something much more traditional when it comes to
yeah,
matters of the heart and finding love.
yeah,
And really, what a human being is figuring out who an appropriate match for marriage is for them versus a machine doing that. So I
Yeah.
think that that for me is really, really interesting. And it goes to show just how, as much as I love technology and
Mhm.
AI is so exciting and fascinating to kind of keep track of the trends, that there is something truly to a human figuring out the right match for this level of clientele.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing. And so you mentioned that you've been in the business or doing this at least for 20 years. How did you begin? What is the origin story?
So the origin story was really based on pure observation. So I was a young entrepreneur living in Silicon Valley, specifically in Palo Alto back in 2000 timeframe. So again, a long time ago.
Yeah.
And during that time, I was networking with a lot of different individuals, mostly of whom were men. And a lot of those men were complaining to me just in our conversations about the challenges with the social landscape in Silicon Valley. These guys were highly educated professional men across a wide range of industries, yet couldn't find a decent match for marriage. So that's
Mhm.
when kind of it dawned on me, okay, there's something very unusual with the Silicon Valley landscape. And then I
Yeah.
saw a very similar trend with a lot of my female contemporaries up in San Francisco, where I'm from. And a lot of my female professional friends, had these wonderful careers, basically everything going for them in their life. The one missing piece of the kind of puzzle was really finding the match. And
Yeah.
so that's my light bulb moment. That's when it kind of went off in my brain, that aha moment. Okay, based on observation,
Mhm.
there's something really unique here. Basically, is anybody doing this? And then that's when I started doing a ton of research on my computer, recognizing that nobody had really cracked the code to understand the kind of DNA of the Silicon Valley culture from a matchmaking and dating perspective. So then
Yeah.
that's when I bought my domain. I started doing more research, and then I ultimately started the business December of 2003. And I've been going full throttle since, never had a day off.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, 20 years in I'm terrible at math. 8 months? 8 months.
Yes. Something like that.
Sorry, that was really slow.
All good.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. So, okay, so then you mentioned that you started with Silicon Valley people, which is and you're right, actually. When you think about Silicon Valley, you don't really think, let me go date. You kind of think entrepreneur, tech startup, I'm gonna go make money, seed funding, those kinds of buzzwords. Like no one really thinks of the human aspect, well, not human, but the relationship aspect of it. So, it's interesting
Exactly.
you put those two together. But my question was going to be, so you started in Silicon Valley, you said that you are now global. Does that mean that you match Silicon Valley individuals globally or global individuals in Silicon Valley? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I would say majority of my clientele are typically going to be based in California.
Okay.
Then there is a percentage of people that I have represented or currently represent in
Hmm.
different states throughout the US. But
Okay.
I'd say largest concentration is in California.
Hmm.
But I have represented and currently represent a couple of individuals overseas. So
Okay.
that typically, I would say, working with somebody like that, it's really situational and it's very much kind of case by case,
Mm-hmm.
depending on that individual. Often, those people, whether they're based in Asia or perhaps the United Arab Emirates, where I've represented clients before, or Europe, usually those individuals will have some sort of tie to Silicon Valley, whether they have a professional board seat in Silicon Valley they sit
Hmm.
on, or they have various investments, or maybe some sort of philanthropy they do, something or some just general intrigue that will bring them here, right?
Yeah.
from time to time. So it kind of makes sense.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, the reality is, I think we all learned during COVID that it's such a kind of global society we live in
Yeah.
and marketplace, and anything is possible. And now, with a lot of people working remotely still, or at least kind of these hybrid roles, a lot of my clients and those in our database are constantly traveling for
Yeah.
kind of that hybrid of work and pleasure. So
Yeah.
they are willing to kind of meet people out of their general area, especially if it means like potentially meeting the love of their life. So they keep an open
Yeah.
mind in that way. Yeah.
Okay, okay, that's really cool. So then what is your vision? I mean, you're seasoned in it and you kind of you've found your spot. I'm sure 20 years is a very long time to sort of, get your groove in. So what do you think is the end goal for Links dating?
Yeah, I mean, I think the kind of vision is to continue to really operate at the highest level that our business operates at,
Mhm.
really working with this very, select demographic of individual. Lynx has really prided itself in being a referral-based business, which I'm really proud of. There's no advertising. I've never advertised. So it's really operating at a different kind of threshold compared to some of the other businesses
Yeah.
in the space. And so I think kind of continuing to really do what we do best and work with this very specific clientele. Meanwhile, very importantly, kind of continue to kind of build our robust database of individuals who want to apply to Links, but might not necessarily be the type who wants to become a premium client.
Mm.
And they will kind of continue to kind of, add their information to our database to see if they could qualify to meet our clients. So I think that part of the business is really important to kind of continue to like put the word out there about what Links is,
Mm.
and kind of the opportunity in terms of potentially for qualifying candidates meet our select clients. So kind of growing that part of the database, I think, is really important, because that's one of the, I'd say, really attractive hallmarks that makes this business unique, is just this incredible proprietary network that is Links Dating. It's something that is been referral based, and really my blood, sweat, and tears over the last many years kind of building that network. So kind of continuing to allow that to flourish.
Yeah. Awesome. Amazing. Thank you for sharing. So then what are some of the challenges that you're facing at Links Dating at the moment?
So I think some of the challenges is just the sheer volume of emails that we get as a team, particularly in my inbox. You had alluded earlier just in terms of kind of, this being very kind of time consuming, right? Being able to
Yes.
kind of work with the level and the echelon of clientele we do. Well, it's kind of for me a balancing act, because I'm wearing a lot of different hats as I'm thinking about, really delivering amazing, impeccable services to our clients so they feel really good about things.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, looking at the sheer volume of inbound traffic to my website and inbox, just with people who are interested, I
Mhm.
have always made a point to respond to pretty much, I'd say 99% of people that write me. And it could be
Wow.
somebody from Timbuktu, I will write them back. Even if they're not a good fit for, let's say, our clientele, I will always write them back and at least say thank you.
Yeah.
Right. And I do that because I always put myself in people's shoes. Like, what would that be like writing a matchmaker? Probably in somebody's mind, they're thinking chances are she'll never write me back. But I
Yeah.
always want to do that. So that part is extremely time consuming. So I'd say kind of that would be an inherent challenge, is just almost the administrative upkeep with
Yeah.
this business. Is a blessing and a curse at the same time,
Yeah.
right? It's kind of like a happy thing, but also the practical nature of, oh my goodness, like
Now you gotta
what
do
an email.
it. Now you gotta respond.
Now we got to respond. And then I would say, kind of taking the individuals that are qualifying potentially to meet those wonderful clients of ours, kind of down that pipeline where they receive information about kind of the opportunity and then being able to do some screenings for them. So our clients are very much depending on our team that we're going to screen any potential match. Typically, if
Mhm.
somebody is local in the Bay Area in
Yeah,
California, I will do that myself in person. But for people that are in different geographies, we
mhm.
rely heavily on Zoom for that, or other kind of video chat
Yeah,
technology. So that's a challenge because, again, at the end of the day, there's limited hours in any day, and we are a small but mighty team. But again, there's a lot of people who want to be screened by our team, and we have limited manpower.
yeah.
So it's finding individuals that can kind of help with those screenings. That would be great for us at Linx.
Okay, all right. Well, then, yeah, you've already jumped into the last question, then, which is how can our community of hustlers assist you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the community of hustlers can assist largely. I would say number one, figuring out a way to help me as an entrepreneur be able to kind of respond to that inbound traffic
Yeah.
where it's personalized, yet maybe implementing a little technology.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's AI, right? But still, like kind of
So
my
it sounds like
personalized
you.
touch.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. I'd say the secondary thing would be helping us kind of streamline an approach to be able to screen individuals who are interested in meeting those clients, whether that is some sort of technology in place or a human being helping with that, or kind of developing some sort of enhanced system to streamline that. That would be
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'd say those would be kind of the two major things
Hmm.
for us. And also, like, we've really been first to market in our industry, implementing a lot of different approaches as we announce our different VIP searches.
Okay.
So we announced those on our website. We were first to market with that, where we really kind of showcase our clientele and then even have an application for people to apply to meet those amazing clients. But then we
Wow.
broadcast a lot of these different searches through our amazing social media platform.
Hmm.
We had a video on social media that went viral, and all of a sudden we got tons of individuals wanting to kind of participate. So
Yeah.
for your hustlers to kind of think about ways to kind of continue to broadcast our
Mhm.
different searches through resources we're not even thinking about. LinkedIn
Okay.
for us is a big one, social
Okay.
media, but they were able to kind of come up with something else that's of interest to us.
Okay, okay, awesome. Well, yeah, I'm very confident that you'll find, good matches on the platform. We do have a lot of tech professionals that have dilly-dallied in those sort of different pockets. I'm not entirely sure about the dating space, but the processes and the automations is definitely something that they're well seasoned in. So I'm excited to see the connections that you make and where that takes Links dating. That's exciting.
Wonderful. That is fantastic. It sounds like a great community you have.
Thank you. Well, thank you for your time, Amy. Thank you for sharing Links Dating with me and the community and what you guys do. I love that I never actually thought about it. Like it really never crossed my mind. So it's really interesting to see that this exists and that you take, like I said at the beginning, just this human-centric approach and you kind of personalizing it and it really coming from like your heart. I can tell you're passionate about it. You must be if you've been doing it for so long. So really interesting to that to see that, and thank you for sharing it, and I appreciate your time.
Of course, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, and I look forward to hearing from your community.
Thank you again. Bye.
Bye.